Hello, my name is James Myers, and for our second case study assignment, I was given the task of diving into Lyft's online marketing techniques and how they affect their success in marketing. I submitted my presentation through Blackboard. If you'd like to follow along with me, that'd be great. So let's get into the first slide here. So the first slide contains a theory I believe fits Lyft's marketing strategies. It's called the means-end theory. The means-end theory states that products can appeal to the personal values of the consumer through their marketing approach. It's a four-tier system that includes attributes, a functional consequence, a psychological consequence, and a value. So Lyft chooses to market in a way that appeals to the values of equality and fighting against social injustice. This appeal is heavily valued in large cities of a more progressive demographic such as LA and New York City, which is actually a large portion of Lyft's businesses since these areas are densely populated and many people don't have cars. Let's go to the next slide here. This here is the value chain that represents the means-end theory. So the first link in the chain are the attributes the product has, so the characteristic and how the product is on a physical level. This provides initial attraction to the product or quickly repels the consumer from purchasing it. The second link here is functional consequence. So this does not necessarily mean something bad because it can be a positive or a negative consequence. This comes down to the value that the consumer has given to the product on how it's fulfilled its physical needs. So on the other hand, psychosocial consequences are how the consumer feels emotionally about their purchase. So it could either mean buyer's remorse or the consumer is actually satisfied with their decision to purchase the product. This link in the chain can actually make or break for Lyft to build a network of repeated customers. If they don't feel right about their purchase or satisfied, then there's no indication they'll go back and buy again. So the fourth link here are values. So this is the hardest aspect to actually obtain in the means-end theory. If a marketing department is able to tap into those values that their consumers have and really get to them on a real level, they're much more likely to have all the other links in the value chain fulfilled, and therefore building a strong network of repeat customers. So let's go to the next slide here. And so it's the next point I'll focus on here is I like to call it multifaceted marketing. I call it that because it's utilizing this video in two different ways. So as an advertisement, but also as entertainment. So this video here is Lyft's most viewed video with 22.3 million views and 289,000 likes. So what this video does is it helps give Lyft a positive brand image because it associates their service with a video that the consumer enjoyed. It also opens a possibility that at some point you could be the one with an undercover Lyft driver. I know it's crazy and unlikely, but so when you consider the competition that does not have potential, however slight, of being the lucky passenger, they're going to choose Lyft. So the third point I'm going to make about Lyft's online marketing techniques are how do they appeal to the trends that affect consumer buying behavior. So Lyft has taken a stance against social injustice in many controversial topics. They've been openly supportive of the LGBTQ community, which brings me to the first trend, gender complexity. Today's society is as close to equality as it's ever been, but there's still a long way to go. There's still too much prejudice against different groups. So Lyft has chosen to show that the LGBTQ community is valued. This is a good message for Lyft to convey because they will obtain a positive brand image for those looking for social change. But on the other hand, they'll also lose some support from a more traditional population. So this trend goes hand in hand with the other trend of diverse lifestyles. People live in all different types of lives and want to be accepted for just who they are. Lyft demonstrates that no matter how you choose to live, you should still be treated equally, and their service will never discriminate against anyone. The next point is how Lyft shows they can provide a service that is convenient for the consumer in a time of need. So the next trend of active, busy lifestyles is exactly why companies like Lyft are so necessary. When you have to be in a meeting across town, they're always there. They're always available to get you there on time, and they utilize this trend as a pillar of their success. Then the next trend, communication revolution. This is the last one I'm going to focus on. As I stated before, Lyft truly uses their platform to provide a strong message of equality. They want their consumers talking about these social injustice issues and progressing forward to build a stronger community, and in doing so, attempt to help start a communication revolution. So let's go to the next slide. And this brings me to my next point about the personal values that Lyft tries to appeal to in their marketing approach. So remember, we were talking about the means end theory earlier. When the fourth link of the chain, values, are fulfilled, it is very likely that the other three links are also fulfilled and most likely will lead to a repeating purchase. And also, as I stated before, social acceptance and equality are two values that Lyft made at the top of their marketing strategy. But the other one that they try to appeal to is pleasure. So when they're making an undercover Lyft videos, they give the consumer that pleasure and satisfaction after watching an entertainment video like that. And this is just a great balance between different aspects of what a consumer needs to be happy, just acceptance and enjoyment. So to wrap up my study here of Lyft's online marketing techniques, I think they do a great job of creating a brand image that provides needs, both emotional and functional. So after looking into this, my only recommendation for how Lyft can modify their marketing approach is it's a pretty simple one. Based on current trends in social media, I believe Lyft should begin marketing on TikTok as well as its current platforms. Because in 2020, TikTok had an average of 837 million monthly users and generated $1.9 billion in revenue. It's still growing in use, and marketing teams have taken to the app, and I believe Lyft should follow suit. If they do make this addition, they should continue to emphasize their message about equality to appeal to a young generation that values equality heavily. And that is all I have for you about Lyft and their online marketing techniques. Thank you for listening.